Greetings and welcome to St. Mary's Life Stories. I'm Deacon John, and today we're going to spend some time with our very own Beth Cunningham. Beth has been a longtime parishioner here at St. Mary's and has been our parish nurse for over 20 years. She also heads up our bereavement ministry, she's our outreach coordinator, and she spearheads our annual holiday and food gift drives, just to name a few things. Welcome, Beth, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
You're welcome, John.
So, for those who may not know you, which is probably not too many people, please just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be a parishioner here at St. Mary's.
Okay, so I am from New York. I grew up there. I'm one of 9 children. I was the oldest girl and had 2 older brothers, but I think being born into the oldest daughter role, I was born into the caregiver role right from the beginning, and it just felt natural, and it still does. But so I got my RN degree. I met Jim, who is from Auburn, and we ended up moving to Holden in 1983. And at that time, we could choose St. Mary's or St. George's. We lived smack in the middle, but we came to St. Mary's. At the time it was a very blue church inside, but it felt very comfortable. At the time, Father Lenk was here.
Yes, I remember him. I remember him quite well. He was famous for doing a good 20-minute mass on a hot Saturday afternoon.
Jim calls him Father Fast. So, and we joined right away, and we became active pretty much right away, and now it's home, second home.
Good. And as I mentioned in the opening, you're involved in the parish in several capacities and ministries, most of them involved in outreach. Tell us a little bit about how you came to be involved in these ministries.
Sure. So I have to say, it began pretty much when we joined the parish. I joined the Women's Guild, and at the time the Women's Guild was active. And then over the years became an officer in different positions, and the Women's Guild at the time was involved with many things. Now, I've come to understand that the Women's Guild before 1983, 1984 did many other things that I didn't know about. And I've learned from Barbara Harrington, Eileen McCorkle, and so many women that were, Sharon McManus, so many people that were involved. So I learned a lot from them. But through the Women's Guild, they were doing the communion service on Tuesdays at the nursing home. They were doing a meal once a month for the mustard seed. They had so many different activities. Through the Guild, we put on fashion shows, dances. We brought back the Harvest Bazaar. We did many things through the Women's Guild. And I think that's where my service here started.
Oh, that's wonderful. And because you've spent so much time helping other people, the obvious question is, how would you describe how helping others has changed your life?
I can honestly say it is when you do work for others, it is unlike doing service or being a mother to your children or being a husband or being a sibling. I think those things we do and we love to do them. Sometimes those things you get weary from doing, but you do them nonetheless because you are loving unconditionally, in love with all those people. So the parish ministry, I think is different because it's a very personal, like a holy high that you get, if I may say. And I've said this to Father Tim, you get God endorphins So when you do service for others, it makes you feel so good. It makes your heart feel that you're making a difference. Even then, though sometimes the only person that benefits is you think is you, because you just feel good from doing it. But when you hear a person you're sitting with tell you that they're thankful and you made a difference and you helped them, or you see the smile on your face, or they want you to come back, or you see the joy, I think it's easy to keep doing it. Very easy.
Great. Now, obviously, these past couple of years, the world has been completely flipped on its head. And when you're working in an outreach type position, things like the pandemic have obviously had a huge impact on how you're able to offer ministry to those, especially who are homebound and in the nursing homes. So what has been the biggest challenge about being able to serve the people in times of pandemic?
So the pandemic times, as everyone knows, left everyone feeling extremely isolated and lonely. I think visiting the homebound and visiting people infirmed in nursing homes or hospitals, I think those were the ones that were greatly affected, and I think how it impacted me was just not being able to see people. We couldn't get in to see people. We couldn't go into nursing homes. You couldn't bring communion to your 80-year-old friend or your 70-year-old friend who's homebound, or many parishioners that we see here. We usually have 40 plus parishioners at any given time that are homebound or in nursing homes. All those people suffered. I think the programs that we did here through Mary Jane and Kerry and Father Tim and we and Sheila, of course, and we were able to reach them. During that time, the group of us, the staff here, we called every single parishioner to check in on them. And we would call periodically to different people that we knew needed just another voice, wanted to know somebody was thinking of them during their loneliness. And then, we did different things. We dropped things off at their house. I remember during Lent, we would drop off Lent in a bag, or we would meet for communion and sneak it through the door, or we would somehow, we got through to people, and it was very difficult. And of course, when people were very sick in the hospitals and they couldn't have visitors, even family couldn't go, that was difficult. Being at home, recovering from a surgery, or being, on palliative care or hospice, and not being able to have communion or prayers said with you, or it was most difficult for those people and their families who observed it. It was very hard. I'm just very happy that it is now mostly behind us, and we've moved forward, and pretty much we're getting back to do everything that we used to do.
Now, this may be a hard question, but I'd be curious, and it may not be just one thing, but what would you say is the most rewarding part of your ministry?
The most rewarding part of my ministry. The most rewarding part, I think, really is, you look at some people sometimes, and not everybody's easy to be with. And you look at that person and you say, that's Jesus. I really want to run out of this room, and I don't want to sit here with you anymore. But you look in their face and in their eyes, and they're a Jesus. That's a difficult part, to tell you the truth. But thinking that that's the Jesus sitting there. That is my Jesus, and they need me. Those who are hardest to love need love the most.
Amen to that.
And that's the hardest part of my ministry. I think COVID was hard. That's the hardest part.
And on that vein, so then what advice would you give to someone else who was looking to answer a call that they might have to serve in the parish?
I invite you to get involved. It can be at any capacity. If you have a feeling that you just want to do something, a little something, just let me know, let Father Tim know, Carrie, Mary Jane, Deacon John. There's so many different things you can do here. If you want the people relationship where you see people, you can be a Eucharistic minister visiting the homebound. You can be a Eucharistic minister at Mass. I just invite you not to hesitate, because getting involved with your church doesn't have to take 8 hours a day or 8 hours a month. It can be 1 hour a month. It can be, 12 hours a year. It can be whatever you want it to be, but I definitely know that you will feel grace and you will feel the God endorphins, as I say. You feel very grateful and appreciated.
And finally, as everybody is starting to learn, as you begin your transition from your full-time staff position back to more of a volunteer role, what are you actually looking forward to the most?
That's a funny question. I can be comical here, but what am I looking forward to the most? Well, as I get older, I am looking forward to waking up in the morning and not having the job per se, the job of going to work. That's a hard question. Been thinking about that. It's not that I'm retiring from St. Mary's. I am just retiring from my 16-hour position here that I started 4 years ago, about when Father Tim just needed some help because of lack of staff, because of lack of pastoral staff here. And I think now we have Deacon John, who is also leaving his full-time employment here. But I do anticipate Father Tim hiring a full-time pastoral assistant, a full-time office manager, and with those two people in place, I think with those hours, I think it will allow more time for many of the programs and the things that we want to do here. I think it will make it easier to bring all of those forward. I am not leaving the parish. I'm not moving. I do look forward to continuing with visiting the sick and being a parish nurse, which is what I did before taking this position in 2018. And I also look forward to being available to anybody in the parish, and certainly assisting the new employees when they're hired for anything that they need. And I especially look forward to continuing with the bereavement support group, because we have wonderful people that have come forward to help with that and that really benefit from it. So we'll keep going.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And I'm sure that I speak for all of the staff and all of the parishioners here at St. Mary's to say how grateful we are that you are here, that you have been here, and that you will continue to be with us in the future. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay.